Hi, this is Debbie from the Inspiration Station. Today's video is part of a YouTube hop for the Layout Library, and our theme this month is winter. On today's layout, I'll be documenting some pictures of two of my grandkids, and I'll be using a cut file from the Hip Kit Club. The paper that I've chosen to start with is from Carta Bella, the wood grain paper is from A Christmas Line, and the blue snowflakes is from Cabin Fever. Because my granddaughter is wearing a pink snowsuit, I wanted to soften the color palette and bring in some pink. So I went through some of my stash and I found that I had the Simple Stories Simple Vintage Winter Woods line. The collection has very vintage images that I didn't think fit the feel of the page, but it had this beautiful pink paper that I thought would be perfect to soften the page and go well with the pink in the photos. I remembered that the colors in the various simple vintage lines often match one another, so I pulled in some embellishments that I thought I might use from the Indigo Garden collection. Then I went to my dies and I pulled out my favorite stitched snowflake die from Lawn Fawn, and I cut several of those. I wanted to pop in here for just a minute because I was so excited that the backing worked as well as it did. I actually did this on the Cricut. I cut the, so I took the cut file, I used the contour feature to take away everything except the insides of the letters, and then I did an offset of 0.01, and it gave it just enough, I mean, you can't even see here how close it is to the edge. It gave it just enough that it stayed under the lines and fit the backing perfectly. It all came out in one piece. They were, because all the letters were connected. I was so happy. Little things make me happy, but this worked out so well. It took almost no time. Once this was cut out, I used a dot adhesive on the back of the white outline and then just stuck it down, and I'm thrilled. It was so much quicker than the way I usually do it, which is by tracing the letters and cutting everything out. So just wanted to take a minute to show you that. The design of my layout is loosely based on a sketch by Allison Davis. I cut the wood grain paper down to about 9 by 10 and I set it slightly off to the left of the page. I taped my photos together to keep them from shifting while I worked out the placement of the pieces. I was trying to avoid the photo coming up through the center of the letter U. Then I laid out the snowflakes along the right border, and I started to audition some of the embellishments that I had chosen. Before adhering everything down to the page, I decided that some hand stitching would add to the page. So I took out my stitching tools and used my pokey tool to poke holes all along the outside edge of the wood grain paper. Once all of the holes were poked, I erased the pencil lines and used 3 strands of white embroidery floss for the stitching. Once that was done, I adhered the wood grain down onto the pink paper and decided that I wanted to overlap the snowflakes on the wood grain so it went off onto the pink a little bit. I also wanted to try to use this Snow Days piece, but it never did make it onto the page. You'll see me bring it back in later in the video, but it just didn't make the cut. So I'm just going to take a moment and play around with all of the pieces to decide where I'd like them. I did want to put this word together after winter fun, and I decided that 5 snowflakes was good. I always like to go with an odd number of embellishments. And because these snowflakes are very intricate cuts, I'm going to use the glue trick that I learned from Natalie over at NB Cards. She showed how you can cut down a silicone basting brush and use it to apply little dots of glue to the back of your intricate die cuts, and it works really well. So once I get those down, I'm going to finish arranging all of them. I did consider using some stickles on these snowflakes, but stickles can be a little messy. You got to take some time for it to dry, and I wasn't really sure that I wanted the sparkle of glitter on there. So I did pull it out and look at it, and yeah, decided against it. But these silver metallic half pearls were the perfect size to put in the center of the snowflakes. You'll see the snowflake over on the left is more solid, where I put the live in the moment. I just took that snowflake and didn't punch out the holes. I like the way that that looked. It gave a little bit more solid presence to the page. So here comes that snow days again. Nope, never made it. So I think this is about where it ends. I do want to thank you for joining me today. Remember, this is a video hop, so go to check out the other people who are listed below, and I hope to see you back for the next video. Thanks for joining me.